right, so today's topic, Monday Marketing Mastermind, and I want this to be more interactive. Okay, I want this to be more interactive, and if you just hopped on, I also, the goal is to make these a little bit more condensed, try to stick to 30 to 45 minutes so we all, myself included, have more time to implement the things that we're sharing. Today's session, or the idea, or what I want us to mastermind around today, is free ways to generate leads in this shifting market. And I think I put specifically in some of the promotional material 18. I am certain that we have at least 18. We'll probably end up with more. I didn't just randomly grab that number. We had done this topic it might even be a few years ago at this time. And I know we came up with at least 18. And with all these great, smart people in here, I'm sure we'll come up with at least that many. But I want to crowdsource or brainstorm or mastermind the answers. So I've got a Google Doc up, and here's what we'll do. We're just gonna do a brain dump, and then after this, myself and Mike will put together related resources to each of the ideas. Now, some of them we may not have related resources, but for most of the ideas that come up, I'm pretty confident that we'll have some sort of related resource that we can point to if it is one that resonates with you. Now, here's an important distinction. In no way, shape, or form should any of you try to implement all of these. The idea is that you from this list, you identify 1, 2, or at most 3 that resonate with you, that make sense, that fit your current skill set, your personality, what's going on specifically in your market, the type of clients that you prefer to work with, whatever that scenario, you pick the ones that resonate with you, and then you do that. Right? And if I had my druthers, I would say start with one thing, one idea, and get moving on that. Right? Now, some of you may have more time than others. So, you might be able to, but certainly trying to implement all of this is a surefire way to fail and get no traction with any of them. Okay? So that said, I want to give you a brain dump so we can come up with as many ways possible. And then we'll append the appropriate or related resources that we already have that might be helpful for everyone here. So let me share my screen. So who wants to kick it off? And you can raise your hand, or you can just open your line. It's hard for me when I'm sharing my screen to see who's raising their hand and so forth, or harder.
Josh.
Yes.
I'll start. CMA a day for your sphere.
CMA a day. Okay. So CMA. Why? There we go. Whoops. CMA a day. So elaborate.
Basically putting together a brief overview of what's happening with the market, focused on your sphere, people who you've sold homes. Well, I guess your past clients would be the right way to put it. Even looking at their settlement anniversaries, because you should be able to find that somewhere, and just sending them a quick email, text, phone call.
And I would say for bonus points,
bonus
points, send a video.
Right, there you go.
A video CMA a day, right? It could be 1 to 3 minutes long. It's talking about, their approximate value currently, what's going on in the market, whatever the case may be. So email, text, or even snail mail. Now that obviously becomes not free, but you could do that if you want.
Phone call.
Or a phone call. Absolutely.
Right. So email, next day text message saying, sent you an email yesterday, just want to make sure you got it. And then 2 days later, a phone call, just, leave a voicemail. You could say, just following up, wanted to make sure you got the email. Clearly, if they haven't responded to the text or the email, would be the phone call.
And you could do that all manually, or you could even set that up, like, for example, in KB Core, you can set that up so that you let's say you do 5 of these a day, okay? And you send the email.
2
a day?
to make sure that you actually get them done. Because
Okay, so
it takes some
listen,
time to put it together, I think,
right.
you know, if you're
I
going to
love
do a
that.
good job.
I love that. 2 a day equals 10 a week equals 40 a month.
Yep.
I love that. Okay. So 2 a day, let's say you send the email. You can even set it up either to remind yourself to text them the next day, right? Set a reminder to text them the next day, or set a reminder to call them 2 days later, or both. Or you can even in KV Core, you can set it up so that happens automatically. You can create a smart campaign where when you send that email out to the contact, you can add them to a smart campaign that says 24 hours from now, I'm going to send this text message, and 48 hours from now, I'm going to send this ringless voicemail. You don't have to get that technical, but you can if this makes sense and resonates with you. Great share. Thank you, Harry.
And Jeffrey put some stuff in the remarks about the ninja selling thing, which is a little more.
Yeah, there. If I can speak to it, Ninja Selling has a real estate review. It's a 7 to 9 page light CMA. They want you to do 2 a week as a drop off. Because it's like neighborhood specific, they work really good around a listing that you have, or something that got an offer as a 10, 20, basically the 10 on each side and 20 across the street, to door knock and drop off as well.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying is as sort of a different way of circle prospecting around a new listing, right? Or somebody else's listing for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, there's 1,000 ways you can use. I mean, real estate. If you Google real estate review and ninja selling, there's outside of the book, there's endless resources on that one that you can. But it's a general report, and it's not to be a 35-page RPR or that. It's really just global, U.S. Macro, U.S. micro, local, micro, neighborhood, and then city, and then then you specify into the neighborhood for some comparable sales that have happened, and then it's just a couple of other pages that you're throwing in there.
So I like the
RPR
mini reports, which you can get down to about 9 or 10 pages, even with I have 2 marketing collateral flyers that I include, one with different selling options and one with Google reviews. But I agree, like a big stack of that. But for those of you that don't have access to ninja selling or whatever, you all on here have access to RPR. And if you choose the mini report option, you can, it gives you something that you can use. And that is even what you could email, if you're not going to do the drop off, which, full disclosure, I'm not going to do that. But the email part of it, you can email the PDF, which does give you a good logical reason to text. Hey, I emailed you this report yesterday. It was a PDF attachment. Sometimes they get lost in the mail, or in the in the spam trap. Can you just confirm that you got it, right? So it's like a logical reason to follow up.
And the nice thing about that idea is you can, if you're doing it in a particular neighborhood, you go through and create the CMA once, and you don't have to, like with my clients, I sell in 3 jurisdictions. So it's a kind of a manual process to create it. Whereas with Jeffrey's idea, you just do it once and you can distribute it to, like you said, 10, 10, 20, whatever.
Yep.
Good. Thanks,
okay.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, good share. Good share. All right. Number two, who's got a number 2 to share? Don't be shy, folks. I don't want to hog this. I've got lots of ideas, but I
look at Shay. He loaded up. Shay did his top 10 there.
Wait, oh man. Okay. Geez, Louise. All right.
Copy and paste, Josh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hold on. Some of this. So here's what I'm gonna start with.
You want me to read them to you?
Let's go. Yeah. Well, that would be helpful. Yes. So, but let's start. I am struggling here. So Google My Business, and free, 100% free. Now they do have a paid service, local services ads, but we've got some great training and resources around building out your Google My Business. I think they're even changing the name of it again. I don't know why they keep changing the name of what it's called, but it's your local business listing with Google. And Winifred, it sounds like at least got one client from that recently. I got a call 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago from someone and this was a free call. It wasn't a local services ad. I didn't pay for it. And we've already listed and gone under contract on that property. Now it was it was a little mobile home deal, but I literally I've not been to the property. I've had one phone conversation with the person that I'm listing and several text and email conversations, and that's it. So, that's kind of nice. But that's a great one that so some of these ideas require ongoing work. That's one that, though you should post to your Google listing and do things to keep it active, the setting up of it, starts with a one-time event, right? And that is one that I would say you all should do. Either if you don't have one at all, create that, create your Google business listing, or if you have one and you haven't updated it in a while, go in and refresh it, add some content, tweak whatever. And there's lots of things you can do with that. For example, every time we get a listing, we add it as a product there. You can share local photos to it. There's any number of things. But again, this is intended to be a brain dump, and we're on number 2 and we're 21 minutes in. So Harry, what's another good one from Shay's list there, or from anyone in the chat?
If we're looking for free, it would be birthday/anniversary videos to people you know.
Birthday/anniversary videos to people you know. You can do that on Facebook. Okay. You can, Facebook will tell you every day what of your Facebook friends have a birthday. You can do it if you see someone posting about their anniversary, their wedding anniversary, or, anniversary could be house anniversary. It could be wedding anniversary. Those are probably the 2 anniversaries that make sense, but you get the idea. And it can just be a very simple personal message. It doesn't have to be salesy in any way, shape, or form. I need to get back to doing these. I did these for almost 2 years, the birthday videos on Facebook, and I just got tired from it, honestly.
Josh, you got to get back into that, bud.
I know.
I can attribute 5 closings to these videos alone, and I got this idea from you.
Okay, well, let me add one caveat. Those videos contributed. I'm certain that wasn't the only reason, but without it, it may not have happened, right? I guess what I'm saying is, I'm sure it wasn't that singular thing. It was that thing that was maybe a tipping point or a conversation opening. So very, very quickly, what is the synopsis of your message? And what is the follow-up, if any, to it? Or is it, well, go ahead.
Okay. Josh, and I'll just send this to you in a video text. Josh, good morning. I just wanted to say happy birthday. It's been a while since we've spoken. Give me a call sometime. I miss you. I'd love to take you out to coffee or something. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.
That's it.
That's it. I'm not selling anything. There's no call to action. It's just, dropping something. And a lot of people call me back and ask me, oh, Shay, I was just thinking about this. Let me talk to you about this thing in real estate.
So you're sending this as a video text message, or you're sending it through Facebook as a video?
Nope. I send it as a video text message to every single person.
And are you using like BombBomb, or are you literally just recording a video and sending like
I'm just recording the video. I just grab my phone wherever I am. Sometimes I'm in the car. Sometimes I'm walking around.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, just thinking about you. Hope you have a great birthday. Didn't want you to think that I'd forgotten about you. It's been a hot minute. Talk to you soon.
It's been a hot minute. Well, in the spirit of my word for the year, which is relationships, I do need to get back into doing that. So thank you for the encouragement. I'm going to commit publicly here that I'm going to get back into doing that. And I'll start today when we're done. Okay, so that's a great free one. And that is one that, really to make it work, that's going to be one that you would need to do every day, or every weekday, and you catch up on Monday on the weekend ones, right? Or you can.
I do it every day. I set 10 minutes apart every morning at 8 a.m. and record them. And I don't send them until we're done with our morning training here at like 10 a.m. my time, because some people sleep a little bit later. but I record all of them in 10 minutes and then I send them out to people at 10 a.m. my time. Yeah, Sunday through Sunday.
Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Let's, number 4. What's another good one?
Most of these are not free.
Well, they could have a free, well, let's stay with the truly free. And then I want to revisit some of these because some of these maybe on the surface don't seem to be free, but there may be a free way to get started, let's say. So I'm going to go with another one that Shay has mentioned recently that has led to a few buyer broker agreements, which is Craigslist. Free platform. And the more we've been talking about it recently, the more people are telling me that they're getting opportunities from Craigslist. And so I am actively doing more posting on Craigslist, and we'll be sharing like the framework or process by which you can get more opportunities, right? Because simply posting a listing on Craigslist, you might get some activity, but getting a little bit more creative and including some compelling or unique value propositions or some offers and calls to action in those listings are how you're going to really make it work. Shay, just real quick also, so of those, can you walk through like how you, was it the Craigslist buyer broker agreements that you got, was it just posting a listing? Was there a specific call to action that led them to reach out, that started the conversation? Was there anything unique or interesting there that of note for us?
There was, and it wasn't just posting a listing. There's a call to action. My friend here in Utah that I do a lot of work with, Belladonna Rizzo, and I put this together, and I will share it to the group because I've found, a good amount of success with that, and a couple more that are looking to do something within 30 to 60 days. And these are just out of nowhere calling on a Craigslist. But I will share that. I'm in the car, but I will share that during the week. Perfect. So that we can put that out to everybody.
Perfect. And we'll include that in the resources with this, which, by the way, if you want this document and the associated resources that we'll put together and the replay, just get back to whoever invited you. We'll get you free access to it. No questions asked. Okay. Along the lines of Craigslist, I'm also going to throw in here Facebook Marketplace. And I will tell you that I am banned from it. They banned me years ago because I got a little too aggressive or didn't follow their terms of use. But I hear often from folks, in fact, the No's in Oklahoma, Kyle and Jen, they generate loads of conversations and opportunities by posting listings or properties on Facebook Marketplace and manually having those conversations. So
I think Facebook Marketplace, Facebook eliminated that. You cannot post listings on Facebook Marketplace anymore. No,
you still can. So the difference there is you still can. They played around with how you can do it through your business page. So there's still some workarounds to it. But they did recently make some changes to it. That's one of those things where people share updates about it and they share them out of context or without full context. But again, this is not something that you should try to do all of these. Far from it. Pick 1, 2, or 3 that resonates and makes sense. And since Daphne spoke up, I'm going to put, and this is one that requires a little bit more commitment and thought, etc., and maybe doesn't truly fall under the free category because there's some tools you might need, but I'm going to say use YouTube SEO video content. Theoretically, those are free. In other words, Daphne generates free leads from her YouTube videos, though she invests a great deal of time and she pays for some tools that help her to create that content. So that one's maybe a little bit.
But really, the only thing you need is your iPhone.
Yes, truly. To get started, that's it, right? I mean, you now have invested into some things that maybe help
Right. I
optimize
mean,
or
editing
whatever.
software
Yeah.
and, I mean, I do have a green screen, but, and some lighting, but to start off with, you really don't need that.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. There's a guy locally here. He's got a Essential PA pros and cons video, I think. He's literally he's got his phone on a selfie stick and he's just walking, or it's like light jogging on a trail on the Appalachian Trail here in Central PA, and he's just talking about Central PA, and it has thousands of views, right? There was no like special editing or anything. He had a selfie stick and his phone, and he's just going for a hike on a trail in Central PA and talking about why it's great to live here. So certainly you can get started for little to nothing. Okay. Of course, weekly email newsletter, said Kathleen, 100%. So you should, in my opinion and experience, you should be sending out a weekly email newsletter to your entire database, all of the contacts that you have. And if you follow our framework for that, it is generally speaking well received and will fill up your activity feed or your to-do list of people to follow up with, right? People that engage with your weekly email newsletter. If you don't know our process and framework for that, again, I want to keep this moving along here. So we're going to add that information to the resources, but sending a weekly email newsletter to your existing list is essentially free. You could get into the weeds about, is that actually free? If you're paying for KV Core or you're paying for Constant Contact, but like, in most cases, it's not going to cost you anything more than what you're already doing or have, etc. So great shout there, Kathleen, on that. Maria says, what services do you use for a weekly newsletter? Whatever you have, right? So if you literally have nothing, I would suggest checking out something like Get Response or Constant Contact. Follow Up Boss is a great CRM that you can add on email sending for very minimal. I use KV Core for my weekly email newsletter. The answer is use whatever you'll use, right? And so I know some folks in here. I think George uses MailChimp. That's a great one too. There are any number of great solutions for that. It's just a matter of picking one and use. And you, Maria, you may even have something already, right? You may not even need something else. Let's see here. For number 3, Winifred said, I DM on Instagram and Facebook. So for number 3, sending those birthday wishes. So I think that's that's a great share. Winifred says, this is a good one. I'm glad somebody else brought this up. I can't even believe that we're this far down along, and we're going to start with this. For rent by owners, FRBOs. Okay. Reaching out to for rent by owners to see if they would consider selling. Okay. The message is very simple. Hi, so-and-so. Hi, Brent. Would you consider selling your rental property at blank address to one of our clients? Please let me know either way. Thanks. Simple as that. Where do you find them? You can find them on Zillow. Okay. I showed that on Wake Up Real Estate on this past Friday, episode 5. Friday, that was the 10th, I guess. Where you can go, and obviously you don't want to be reaching out to the ones that are owned or that are under management or listed by a real estate agent, but you can find for rent by owners on Zillow where it is the actual owner and simply reaching out to them. You can also find for rent by owners on Facebook Marketplace. You can also find for rent by owners on Craigslist, and there are probably other places as well. And there are services that'll do it for you too, like My Plus Leads. But you can do it for free and get started. And if you did that, if you reached out to one a day for the whole year, that would be 365 possible connections with people that own at least 2 properties, or I would say in the vast majority of cases. And so if they say no, the logical follow-up is, okay, great. Are you looking to add to your portfolio of rentals? Right. And then they may end up becoming an investor client for you. Right. These are great people to be reaching out and connecting with. Okay. And since we're going down this road, I'm going to say for sale by owners, I'm going to say expireds, whether fresh or old, either case. And those you can find for free. For sale by owners, you can find those for free on Zillow. Also, fizzbonanza.com. Fizzbonanza.com is a great free resource. The Chris Jones and Levi Jones and Gorilla Realty, and I forget what that's their local brokerage. I forget what the name of their other company, but anyway, it's a free tool that they provide, and you have to register, but you put in a zip code or whatever, and you say, I want for sale by owners in this radius, and they will it'll spit back what they can find on it. So there's great free ways to do that. Expires you can find in your MLS, or you can use a tool like PropStream, growwithjosh.com/PS. growwithjosh.com/PS, or you can use data providers like RedX or LandVoice or Vulcan or MyPlusLeads again, which is what, we've got a subscription to MyPlusLeads, and that we've got FSBOs for rent by owners and expireds with those. Okay, let's
Josh,
keep moving along. Yes.
just one more thing on for rent by owners. Another follow-up question to them is, if they say no, you ask them, do you have any other rental properties that maybe you're thinking about selling?
Correct. So yeah, that's a great point. And sometimes some of them, so I've had those conversations where they brought it up, but I've also had them where I didn't think to bring it up. And all you have to do is ask that question, and then they may think of it. Right. But like some people, depending on where you caught them or how you caught them, you know what I mean? Like how they may not think of it. So if you're the one bringing up the idea, they may be like, oh, you know what? I hadn't really thought of that, but I've got this other one, and their lease is their lease is potentially expiring, or whatever the case may be. So what else we got? John says, do not call list. Yes, I would always recommend scrubbing against the do not call list. I would make the case that for rent by owners and for sale by owners, if they're publicly marketing their properties, I think you can be safe in that scenario. Expireds or cold outreach, whether it's circle prospecting or some of the other strategies that we use for the likely listings protocol, I would certainly, make sure to be careful of the do not call list. Winifred, I'm going to add this to the list. Not something that I would ever do or have ever done, but door knock. Sure, you can door knock, whether it's your neighborhood or a specific neighborhood that you want to farm. Door knocking absolutely is there's no cost to that, right? What else, folks? Come on, we've got 11.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
There's one that I've used in the past is Nextdoor, not signing up as their premier agent,
Yep.
but putting out things like, hey, I've got a buyer for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage in this area. And I've actually generated a couple of lists, just a handful, but I've generated a handful of listings from that and buyers. So just putting out what people are looking for, and that you've got, a listing there can generate contacts and interest. And
Yep.
I've had that work out for me in the past as well.
100%. Mark Webster did the coat drive, which was that was a topic, the very first Monday marketing mastermind in January, and that on Nextdoor got a lot of activity. Now, that wasn't a specific real estate post, but it connected him with folks in his community. Okay. And I love the idea of what I would call a buyer referral offer post, right? So, hey, I've got these clients. In fact, I'm going to do this for clients that we were trying to get into a listing this afternoon, and for some reason the seller temporarily withdrew it. So I'm going to implement this strategy for myself today here at posting about those clients and what they're looking for, and to see, if there's anybody that are thinking about selling or consider selling in the specific area that are in. What else we got?
Hey, Josh, one more quick thing. I know you're trying to keep it quick, just on Nextdoor.
Yep.
If your buyers are okay with you putting a picture of them as the buyers looking for it, I've gotten a lot more interaction saying, hey, the Gilchrists in the last one I used are looking to buy a house. with that 3-bedroom, 2-bath, my engagement was almost quadruple without it.
Well, so that is so because you're making it more real, right? It
Yeah.
makes it more believable that you actually have clients. And since we're going down that this path here, that ties into, you know, just generally social media. So social media, taking that same idea, posting on social media. I've got some clients, the Hatchers. They're looking to buy a home, you know, a 4-bed, 2.5-bath home in blank area. There's very little inventory available, and we haven't been able to find the right one for them. Who do you know in your neighborhood who you know, might be considering selling or something like that? And the more again, the more specific and you know, believable you can make it, right? When you're telling a specific story, it seems like, you know, it just makes it more believable, right? And there's
Authentic,
always going to
yeah.
be a level of skepticism without that specificity. So that's one way you can leverage social media. Another thing that a regular spot on our Wake Up Real Estate shows is a social media post of the day. So simply posting, whether it be listings or curated lists of properties, or Ryan's social media post of the day was around real estate investing today. It was just some books about real estate investing. And all of us are on social media to some degree, right? I would think, if you're here. And those are opportunities to uncover you know, conversations and get referrals, et cetera, if you utilize it in a way that isn't just constantly asking for business, right? So I'm just going to leave social media as a general one there, you know, where that has lots of implications or applications. Winifred says networking events. Absolutely. Networking events, in-person networking events. So now you want to find free ones, but if you, I mean, from my experience, I haven't been at something like that in quite a while, but there, in most places, there are free networking events that you can. It could be an investor meetup, right? It could be for a local chamber of commerce. It could be, you know, whatever. There are lots of ways you can find those. And if you just Google events in your area, or if you look at Eventbrite for events or Facebook for events, that could be a great place to meet up. And it doesn't even have to be networking, right? You could look for events that are relevant to you, right? Like a local, I don't know, like I consider sporting events, they're like networking events. Every time I go to a sporting event, I'm not like trying to sell real estate there, but I'm going and connecting in person with people I already know to remind them, hey, you know, and I often have, you know, a shirt or a jacket on that just kind of subtly, subliminally reminds them of what I do. So 100%. And I'll say also here, now there can be an associated cost for this, but you can figure out a way to do this for free, is client events. Shay does extremely well putting on client events. Now, Shay does incur some costs of that, which he may, I don't know if he entirely offsets, but at least partially offsets by having vendors help contribute to that. But you can find ways to do it for free or very low cost, and you can leverage free means to invite them to the event: email, text, phone. That may be a case where you pop by or whatever to invite folks to that. So that certainly is a great way to generate opportunities.
I created my own networking event and called it the 303 Happy Hour. So the people that show up can promote the title of the happy hour without being at like my event, so that their people can come into the happy hour and feel like it's part of them. And then that way I can grow that business once a month and have an event to invite my clients to as well.
100%. I love it. So networking events, it could be either attending or creating your own, right? And when you are the one, the host, right? It's a different feel than when you're the attendee. So good on you, Heath. I love that. I love that. We're getting close to the number that I promised, which is good. So number 17, someone had shared creating a Facebook group, and sharing relevant information. Now, it may be a Facebook group around local area real estate, or it may be a Facebook group for local area real estate investors, or it may be a group for a specific neighborhood or community or subdivision, or it might be a Facebook group for blank area affinity, right? So for Central PA dog lovers, or for Central PA, whatever the case may be, you can take that and turn it into a way to connect and get into conversation and build relationships with more people. And people are who we help and serve, right? Like, I know that's kind of obvious, right? But, bears repeating. So along those lines, you can also, I'm gonna call this farm Facebook groups. So you can strategically go and find groups and look for groups that are asking questions or having conversations, or people commenting that logically may be thinking about buying or selling. Okay, it takes some time, but there's opportunity there. And you can also even do that. This is kind of an old school strategy, but you can do that on Twitter too. You can search for people looking in blank area for blank thing or whatever. So the Twitter search. Now, caveat, I haven't tried that in a while, but and some areas, if you're in a more densely populated area, there may be more or less opportunities on that front. Any other big ones that we've missed? I think somebody's coming in there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was going to say, answering questions on Quora.
Answering questions on Quora. So I'm just vaguely familiar with Quora, but that is it's just a forum to ask questions, right? So you could even find people posting questions specific to your market. Is that?
Yeah, I would say a lot of the questions are clearly sort of to be avoided, but there are people who ask questions about.
And I would assume you can search, right?
Yeah,
you could search for the questions that would be more relevant. Absolutely. All right. Well, are we missing any big ones? I mean, we've got a pretty good list here. So,
Easter egg hunt.
What's that?
I had one.
Yeah, go ahead.
How about searching delinquent taxes? Like in Jersey where I'm at, there's websites for each county, and in the counties you can pay your utilities and your taxes there, and you can see which ones have bills. And I've done this. I just search and see who has unpaid taxes for at least a few quarters, and they go on a list of potential pre-foreclose or just motivated distressed sellers.
100%. I think you got to be careful how you reach out to them, or maybe not. I know Shay is very direct when he reaches out to audiences like that. I would take a more indirect approach. Hey, just curious, would you consider selling your property at blank address to one of our clients? Please let me know either way. But I love that idea. It also reminded me that you can, on Zillow, you can look for pre-foreclosures too. And some of that data may be more fresh or less fresh, depending on your market, and what data is available and how frequently the data is updated. But absolutely that as well. I love that. And I'm gonna have to shut her down here soon, but we're getting some other great ideas. Open houses, 100%.
Can't believe we forgot about that one, huh?
What's that? Yep. So connecting with let's say lawyers, okay, probate, divorce. I mean, that's definitely one that requires some cultivating and some warming up of, for sure. I want to go back to this one just real quick, because I think this is the one that Harry was saying. Well, there's costs associated, because Shay had shared a bunch of connecting with absentee owners or specific niche audiences. And some of that may require cost, but for example, to get started, and I think Shay even has a story around this, you can get a free trial with PropStream at growwithjosh.com/PS. Now, on the free trial, it's either 7 or 14 days. You can only save 50 properties, okay? But you could create a very targeted list of 50 properties. You could manually skip trace to find more information about those owners, okay, using That's Them or True People Search. And you could reach out to them with that same question, that same sort of direct but low key question, you know, hey, would you consider selling your property at blank address to one of our clients? Let me know either way, right? And that's a great way that you can start. And then if you uncover, or when you uncover opportunities and you turn that into some business, then you can reinvest into some of those tools. That said, many of you can just go to your title company and can get data. Many of you have access to Remind with your MLS, for example, in Bright MLS, right? So many of you have access in one way or another to these data sources, and you just have to use what you already have, right? And get creative about how you can use what you already have. I don't do a good job of using what we already have with Remind. Like, you know, there's great opportunities with Remind if you want to, you know, put in some elbow grease and you know, and get to work, right? Put in some grunt work and reach out. And it's a great way, you know, circle prospecting. You can pull up a neighborhood in Remind and see, you know, not everybody, but they will have some owners that have their email address and their phone numbers, and you can get to work on making those contacts. Okay, 24. I think this is a pretty good list, unless we have any like really glaringly obvious ones.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
It's Chris.
Chris?
Do we have contacting for sale by owners and expired listings on here somewhere?
Yes, 9 and 10. 9 and 10.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
bet. You bet. There was a lot. It was going fast and furious there for a little bit. This is all about whether you have more time than money or vice versa. Sorry, who was that?
That was Martin. I was saying vacant properties. Asking your mail carrier. I've actually done this in my investor days. Asking mail carriers or garbage folks to inform you when they come across vacant properties.
I love that. So let's see. I'm going to say enlisting bird dogs.
Basically.
Bird dogs on your behalf. So could be mail carriers, could be garbage collectors. I don't know if there's a more politically correct version of that nowadays. It could be you know, it could be investors.
Sanitation workers.
Sorry, I'll clean that up. But it could be investors, right? You know, these connections and these conversations, they can turn into opportunities for you, and they cost nothing more than your time and energy, right? So I love that one. That's a great shout. Thank you, Martin, for sharing. We will go through, as I said, and append related resources to this. Now, it may take us a few days to do that, but if you want access to that, all you have to do is get back to whoever invited you, and they will give you or let you know how you can create a free account to access the replay, this document, and the related resources that we point to and reference in there for those of you that want to you know, get started and embrace these. Now, don't do all of these. Pick 1, 2, or 3 and do that. And then once you have it down to a predictable, systematic process, then you can look at adding more, right? But the fastest way to overwhelm is to try and do too many of these things. And I love that Harry, the very first one we said here, Harry's CMA a day, I said do 5 a day. He said, no, 2, right? 5 feels overwhelming, 2, or maybe just 1, right? Maybe just 1 a day. That compounded over a year's time equals a lot of connections and opportunities for conversations. So Any final thoughts or ideas to share before I take care of some housekeeping items and wrap it up? Okay, so housekeeping. Tomorrow is Texting Tuesday. Texting Tuesday is now part of the Wake Up Real Estate Show and is now at 10 a.m. Eastern. 10 a.m. Eastern. It's streamed wherever, all throughout the social sphere. You can create a free account at wakeupre.com, wakeupre.com, for the community we're building, to share the replays of our shows and the stuff that we're working on and the things that you can swipe and deploy, all of that. You can go and create a free account at wakeupre.com. We have our group, our big group coaching at 12:30 Eastern tomorrow in our private team suite. We'll be back for huddles on Wednesday and Thursday. And I do want to reiterate for folks in my group, I want to condense the huddle down a little bit. Ideally 30 to 45 minutes. Now we went a little long here today because this was great information, right? But to make it a little bit more punchy, quick, and let everybody get out and have more time for dollar producing activities. So we've got those, and then Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern is Pat Hayes' Freedom Friday, and 11 a.m. Eastern is Larry White's Wealth Building Mastermind. We also have if you're interested, we've got a class this afternoon on taking listings from absentee owners, absenteeclass.com. Let's see here. Yeah, remember, some of these activities have 2 to 3 activities within them, 100%, right? So choose wisely, I think, is the takeaway here. Choose wisely, pick and commit to 1, 2, no more than 3 of these. And then once you have that implemented and it's a habit for your business, then you can look at, okay, what's next? What else could or should I add? Or do I need to double down on this one thing because it's really working, right? Do I need to double down or triple down on that one thing? Thanks so
Hey,
much
Josh,
for the yes.
I'm a day late and $1 short, but I have another suggestion: volunteering. I volunteer at the Council on Aging, and I have gotten 2 listings from that.
So volunteering and so volunteering, and I'll also through slash charitable events slash work. Yeah, doing good in your community, right? Kathleen didn't volunteer expecting to get listings, but it was a nice little byproduct of that. So good share. Good share. Thanks for all of the everyone sharing and for those of you opening your lines, etc. Really appreciated. We'll put this all together and share. Just get back to whoever invited you. Let's make it a great week. And for my group, make sure we bring back wins for the Wednesday huddle. Thank you. Take care and talk soon.